Hello, Colin. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Boo. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. I know you are very busy and newly on the super special job there, and you're taking time to meet me and chat. And our conversation basically is about how music impact young people's life. And I'm so glad and we can get to chat your life. I would like to start with, you can share with us your background and your family and so forth. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Colin. I was born in Houston, and that's where I grew up. Starting from age 5 was when I started piano, and that was pretty natural for me to start piano since my mom was a piano teacher, and
Sure.
it was something that she would just give me exposure to and see if I was receptive to it. And I really enjoyed piano. And then I had a little bit of musical talent. So starting at around age 8, my parents decided that it would be a good idea to introduce me to a stringed instrument because that would give an opportunity for me to join the school orchestra. And the choice came down to either violin or cello.
Mm-hmm.
My final decision came down to the cello because I could practice sitting down and perform sitting down rather than standing up.
Smart.
And I really enjoyed the mellow, like the mellow, tender sound of a cello.
Mhm. Of
It
course.
was very unique and something I felt suited my personality quite well.
Good. So you did made your own choice about the instruments because most parents, especially Asian parents, they will pretty much make decisions for their child, and traditionally very strict. I was wondering how your family and how your parents like, you know, in terms of your education.
Mhm. So I'm blessed to have two very loving, caring parents who always supported me and wanted me to strive for excellence, but were never overly forceful or pushy on setting goals for me. They just wanted me to try my best. And as long as I put my full effort towards something and do it with purpose, they were satisfied regardless of the result. So there was absolutely no pressure for me to win awards in piano, cello, or academics, but it's just something for me to enjoy and make a life gift of music.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Mhm.
What was the most memorable moment in your music experience?
So for one experience, I would say when playing piano was getting the opportunity to perform at Carnegie Hall
Wow,
during the freshman year of high school.
wonderful.
I think that was a very magical experience performing in the same hall as some of the great musicians throughout the 20th century. It was the result of winning a piano competition called the Chopin Society of
Hmm.
Texas, and we gave the winners recital. Um, Also, the first time I went to New York City, and that's when I fell in love with the city and all the arts and culture it had to offer.
Of course, New York, Carnegie Hall, and then people ask how to get to Carnegie Hall, and I say practice, practice, practice. You must be did some practice, right?
I did some.
Yeah, so how did you manage time? See, you play piano. Of course, you pick up a string instrument, and also you have to study. Was that the scheduling, all these things you did it yourself, or your parents kind of guide you?
Um, so I would say starting from a very, very young age, like probably before third grade, my parents taught me general principles that you should always prioritize the most important work, which is don't waste time when getting home and try to complete all your homework first before like playing games or relaxing. So after building that type of priority and good work ethic, throughout middle school, high school, and college, I managed my time independently. I learned the priority stack and just went home, tried to accomplish and finish all the most urgent homework first. And then in between, I would think of music as more of a break,
Hmm.
kind of a way to de-stress from the technical and academic aspects of my work and refresh my brain a bit. And being able to fit in an hour of two every day was a very good refresher and helped me focus back on my academic work.
That's wonderful. When you were in middle school or high school, I imagine you might join the orchestra as a string
Mhm.
player.
Yes, the school orchestra was a very special experience for me in high school because not only was it like my way of being part of like a performing musician group, I felt like I was part of a community with so many events and so much bonding with all the members in the group. I felt like I really developed a strong sense of camaraderie. It taught me a lot of discipline and how much practice it was. It was not an individual effort.
Yeah, that must be a very, very exciting time for you. Not only, enjoy playing music, enjoying music, and also meeting the friends, and have a great social life, uh, which contributed to the overall growth. I believe that's a wonderful experience. Um, let's move on. Let's say when you were ready to decide, what do you do in your life? And then at that moment, what was the most major influence factor to make you decide to go to university majoring in different thing rather than music?
That's a very good question and an interesting point that you bring up because my career choices were driven by very much independent factors from my musical career. From a very young age, I've always enjoyed like transportation systems,
Mm.
um, playing with Legos, and reasoning with math and logic. Now, I understand math and logic do have a significant overlap with music.
Mm.
And because I always like to think in first principles about the world, always question everything from the most fundamental level and see how it builds up and how and why we see the phenomenon we do in everyday life and how we make um, our current technologies better for a brighter future tomorrow. And it was this motivation from my math and science classes that told me, okay, I want to be a future engineer and make the world a better place. And meanwhile, while having that idea, I could still use music. And I began seeing music in a new light from in terms of music theory, um, analysis of um, melodies, analysis of rhythm. It, it was overall, I approached it from more of an analytical standpoint, but also understood that there was the emotional part where it was just driven by human emotion and feeling.
Yes.
So detached from engineering.
Wow. That's deep. That's deep. You analyze both music, and music is, if you analyze music, it's really complex. In the meantime, of course, the whole universe is complex. You analyze it with a physics, a math point. So
Mhm.
these two collaborate together and makes the beautiful world, I think. So you went to college, study what major?
I studied mechanical engineering and economics for my undergrad at Rice University.
And you graduated from Rice, then you move on to Stanford.
Mhm.
Can tell us about your experience in Stanford, what you major in, and what your student life is about.
Okay. At Stanford, I majored in robotics and control systems. And that was very much influenced by my undergraduate education. Um, in undergraduate, when pursuing mechanical engineering, I decided to go that route because it was the most broad out of all engineering fields. And me being indecisive when entering university, it was just the best way to get as broad of an exposure as possible. So robotics essentially was the most interdisciplinary field that unifies computer science, um, mechanics, and electrical design. And it's truly what I enjoy as a career.
As you talk about, I can see you very enjoy and get into those things. For me, is like a very foreign, just those robotics theory and these things. Um, I can never imagine I would fully understand what you're talking about. I don't pretend I understand, but it's interesting. You're talking about this, but nowadays, what we can see is those robotics, the robot is taking over the world. That's what I can see. And I'm not worried about any other robot than robot pianist. What if the world and the scientists like you create some robot and play better than the human musicians? Would this day ever happen? Do you think it will happen, or is not the time to happen yet? What do you take on those kind of things? This to do, of course, with the artificial intelligence things. What do you take on these things?
Well, you bring up a very interesting point. And like the shocking thing is that it has already happened.
Oh,
There is already AI generated music. It's just totally generated from large data sets of
so
machine learning.
you mean the generated music? You mean composition, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it's automatically generated compositions. And at least at this point, we can breathe some sigh of relief that it has not replaced human musicians or human composers.
Okay.
Because I believe that when we enjoy music, it's not only like the listening pleasure to like the melodic overtones or just having something to or just enjoying like the melody of a piece. It's also building a human connection with the
Mhm.
composer and understanding what kind of story it's telling. And that element I feel like only a human composer can convey. It's like when we go to live concerts, we not only want to enjoy the music but also connect with those performers and see them perform at their best. And I think no amount of AI, whether general or narrow AI, will be able to replace.
That's optimistic sign for me. I have a sigh of relief now from the young engineer like you. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Um, let's move on. I understand that right now you work at Tesla, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So tell us about how did you get into Tesla company? I know that's very competitive, and Elon Musk is somebody very, very special.
Mhm.
And how did you, what the special make you get into Tesla? And can you share some about this with us?
Yes, of course. Um, so I think I first heard about Tesla about 5 or 6 years back when it was just like the darling child of all engineers, and it immediately became my dream company at that moment.
Mhm.
And fortunately enough, by the time I graduated, Tesla went on a massive hiring surge. And I consider it luck that a recruiter reached out to me to say, hey, this department is actually hiring for automation controls engineers. And we see that your background is an excellent fit. So we would like to see if you'd be interested in interviewing. And I just, I think I went through 5 or 6 rounds of technical interviews and assessments, and finally a signature by Elon Musk before I got my final approval letter. And the moment I got it, I knew this was my dream company. I love the mission, I love the nature of the work, and I can't imagine myself doing anything else today.
Fascinating, fascinating. That's wonderful. From what you talking about when you were in high school, you were thinking the first principle theory, and that's just to match what Elon Musk was thinking, and he was always talking about this. So you definitely was a best match for the company and for his principle, I believe. So
Mhm,
actually, they reach out to you. That's amazing.
mhm,
Congratulations. I have to say, not enough. that's great. That's great. You really deserve this position.
Thank
Well,
you.
yeah. So tell us about Tesla. When you get in, what do you feel? Anything you can share with us about the Tesla company?
Sure. I think Tesla's an extremely exciting place to work just because of the massive pace of growth as well as the groundbreaking technology over there. We are blessed right now because we are considered a large company, but that we have standardized procedures in place, but we still operate at the pace and grit of a startup. So
Mhm.
we get work done extremely fast, but with in a very structured manner. Change is constant, and there's never a day where you don't learn something new.
That's wonderful because we all know Tesla company, and we seldom meet actually somebody from Tesla. So you are very special. We're very lucky to have you share us with the insight of your work and company. That's
Yes.
so much. Yeah, that's and wonderful. Um, I would say thank you very much for your time, and we're gonna conclude our conversation here. Good luck in your future, Colin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boo. Best of luck with your interviews as well.
Thank you very much. Alrighty. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.